Our story begins on Terra, home of humanity. The year is 2049 and the pollution ages are finally over. The 8th of June 2049 marks the date when fusion reactors finally became the main source of energy on our blue planet. Because of this new power source, the space industry boomed once again like in the days of the Cold War. Its goal? A reliable source of helium-3 for the fusion reactors that were soon becoming so vital to Earth. And so, around the beginning of the 22nd century, Luna became a massive helium-3 mining station. Thanks to these new reactors, humanity's hopes for the stars grew bright once again, and several massive colonies soon started popping around the red planet, Mars. Soon enough, a terraforming of it began. The year is 2153. About 50 years later, colonization of Mars was officially declared, and Terrans swarmed to this new land with a bright future, a land of opportunities and of fantasy. At the same time, powerful multinational and brand new multiplanetaries began constructing sky cities on Venus, a firstly publicitary stunt that soon turned into an economic war. And as business skyrocketed in space, it crushed on old Earth, which soon faced a huge shortage of workforce and material, only saved by the inauguration of mining operations on the asteroid rings of Sol, an introduction of robots in our everyday jobs, an act that was before prohibited by the Artificial Intelligence Acts of 2067. By the 24th century, Terra's population was dangerously low, but their economy was finally stable in the now highly mechanized planet. Meanwhile, on Mars, another problem was to be faced: overpopulation. Because of the massive influx of Terrans in the last century and the joys of a perfect world, humans did what we are best known for: ruining everything. On Venus, the corporations had finally made peace, and the highly capitalist planet began to economically prosper, trading with every confine of the Sol system. Scared by the thought of Mars's enormous population coming back to the now pleasant Terra, it closed its borders in the first major political interplanetary act. However, Earth could not have made a worse choice, as it entered in the biggest war ever seen, some factions even turning to genetic modification to give themselves the edge. Meanwhile, the powerful Venus declared independence from Earth, who sent a task force to stop them, but because of their internal troubles and Venus's prosperity, they got obliterated. But one good point is that this defeat helped end the war on Earth, with a Pyrrhic victory for the side using genetic modification. Mars declared independence on the first day of the 25th century. A symbolic action, as Terra had already cut all diplomatic ties with the Red Planet. Earth prospered in isolation, and with Martian scientists coming back because of the overpopulation and chaos there, it became a technocracy named the Solar Constitutional Republic. Venus, on the other hand, took advantage of Mars's enormous population, recruiting them as cheap labor. The Red Planet goes all in with this deal, trying to fix their overpopulation, and they even start colonizing other moons and asteroids. The new technological boom happening meanwhile on Earth finally arrived at its peak with the discovery of spatial superposition in the 26th century, taking two near-identical points in space and moving them together with advanced quantum physics. However, this technology was deemed too dangerous and locked away not to be developed. Meanwhile, on the border of humanity's little empire, the Martian colonies were beginning to think about freedom. Mars, facing many problems, had built an enormous navy, thinking a strong military might help keep the weak balance of power on the planet. The colonies were thus facing a big military problem, and asked Venus with its advanced navy for help. Venus, who profited from Mars's huge population, declined. It is only 13 years later that a new spark of hope was ignited, when the colonies discovered a secret Terran project named Transposition. They thus made a daring move by stealing it from the Terrans and selling it to Venus for its help, finally attaining independence. Venus, not stopped by any possible dangers in the face of profit, began using this technology en masse, and Mars soon also got their hands on it, and thus began the biggest colonization in galactic history. It ended with the creation of 3 factions: the Venus Economic Coalition, the Free Planets League, and the Faith. This last one is the successor of Mars. To stabilize the crumbling situation on the planet, the government forced religion through drugs and extensive propaganda and education. By this, the government managed total control over its population, and through the control of priests that were placed everywhere by God's envoy, or the Martian chairman, the oligarchy soon became a total dictatorship in everything but name. However, old Terra did not take part in this colonization, instead focusing on itself, connecting all Terrans through neural links and creating the Central Terran Intelligence, while designing some of the most advanced chips ever seen. A Dyson swarm was installed around the new rebaptized Sol, and Luna was turned into a massive shipyard, capable of superimposing itself. Thought of Terra spreading to the stars terrified the other powers. And in 2539, a combined Venus Economic Coalition, or VEC for short, and Free Planet Force moved to attack the old world, creating the first interstellar conflict of a long list to come. Venus had a massive fleet and managed to overwhelm the Terran orbital defenses and small protective force, but not without suffering massive losses. And just as Terra was on the brink of destruction, a Martian armada arrived, using the opportunity of massed VEC forces to deal a devastating blow to the Empire they saw as their main enemy, crushing the already damaged Coalition fleet and attacking several other key VEC worlds, and thus began the biggest conflict of all of history. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. This is a small sci-fi project between me and a couple of friends. I would love help. For example, we don't even have a name for it yet, so if you could pop the suggestions in the comments below, that would be great. Thanks, have a great day everyone.